Good morning, friends. Welcome back to our Professional Ethics and Human Values class. So let me share screen to you all. So in our unit 2, Professional Ethics and Human Values. Last class we discussed about fundamental duties. Okay, as per given by B.R. Ambedkar, and he wrote an excellent book, Indian Constitution. From that particular book, Article 51A, we have basic principles and fundamental duties we need to follow, right? Or we discussed in this previous class, fundamental duties, right? Already we completed emotional intelligence and Salve and Mayer's models, right? So today's class, we need to focus upon human rights, right? Human rights. So what is meant by human rights? So here, the meaning of human rights are the rights which are having by the human. So human beings should have some specific rights that is called as human rights. So here, coming to the meaning and definition of human rights. Human rights are the rights inherent to all human beings, whatever our nationality and whatever place of residence, whatever gender and whatever nation or ethnic origin and color, religion, language, or any other status, whatever these all things and whatever categories of these, but each and every person should have the rights. That is called as here human rights. Human rights. So not meant for only particular religion, or those rights are not particularly towards the education qualifications, and not for these rights these rights are meant for some specific region or not specific nation or not specific particular caste or religion, right? But these are common for all human beings of our country. So these rights are called as human rights. So human rights are the rights inherent to all human beings, whatever nationality, whatever place of residence. Either it may be Jammu Kashmir, or it may be Goa, or it may be Kerala, or it may be Gujarat, or it may be Bangladesh, or it may be Madhya Pradesh, or whatever the living residency is there, living place, whatever nationality, whatever gender, whatever national or ethnic origin, whatever color complexions, whatever religion or whatever caste, whatever languages are there. But these total rights are for not based upon all these things. It is used for and it is meant for all human beings of our domestic country. That is called as here human rights. So human rights, we are all equally entitled to our human rights without discrimination. So here discrimination means differences between the people is called as here discriminations. So different rights and different human beings, different rights to different category of people is called as non-discrimination. But here discrimination means so equality. So not having without discrimination. So we are all equal, not having any discrimination. So entitled to our human rights. So simply this is this point meaning is here All are equal and all are having rights. All are having the rights without any favoritism, without any discrimination, without any partialities. So all are equal. So these rights are all interrelated and interdependent and indivisible. Indivisible. Indivisible means not divided, not dividing, right? Indivisible, indivision. So, so indivision means unique, a single. So these rights are all interrelated. So each and every right are related to each other and interdependent. So one right is depending upon another right depending upon another right. So each and every right is independent, interdependent, interrelated, indivisible, right? So this is all about the meaning of human rights. So coming to this next slide, so human rights. Here some of the examples: assembly, association, movement, religion, speech, information, press, thoughts, education. These are the few human rights. So coming to this classification or types of human rights, that is called here CPR, PSCR. That is equal to combination of these two, then we will get human rights. Then we will get the human rights. So here CPR means civil political rights, civil and political rights, civil rights as well as political rights, CPR. And next ESCR means economic, social and cultural rights, economic, social and cultural rights. So here economic means our financial based. S means here social rights, social means here society. So society is here friends, relatives, neighbors and unknown persons. Unknown persons. These four categories are belongs to the society or social. And coming to C means cultural rights, our culture, our religion, our traditions, right? Traditional rights, cultural rights. So ESCR, economic, social, cultural rights, and CPR, civil and political rights. Combination of these two, and then we will get human rights. Human rights. This is the classification. Okay, we have the next slide with the CPR, and we have another slide with the CSCR, right? So coming to CPR, civil and political rights. Civil and political rights. These are the civil and political rights. And coming to the next slide, CSCR, economic and social cultural rights. So here economic rights, social rights and cultural rights. Right? CPR. So here civil and political rights, legal principles. Legal means law related rules and regulations. So law means here a set of rules and regulations, chapter, the acts, the rules and regulations given by the constitutions, right? So that is called as here legal principles. So legal means here law. Principles means rules. So a set of rules and regulations, legal rules and regulations. Any civil courts are there, criminal courts are there, IPC sections. So these are the few legal rules and regulations we have in the constitution. So here are one of the point is here contracts, Sale of Goods Act, and Consumer Protection Act. These are the few, and also we have the intellectual property rights, IPR. These are the few types or parts we have in the legal principles. So next, coming to the right to legal resources. So these are the rights we have. Right to have a legal resource. So if any crime or any loss occurred, then we have the right to solve that problem or to claim the loss and to recover the loss. So that is the point here, legal resources. So right to have sue upon other persons, right to have put the file upon the victim, right? Victim. So put the case or file the case upon the victims. So that right is called as here right to legal resources. And next, innocent and until proven quality. So innocent until proven quality. Proven quality is another right. And right to a fair and public hearing. Public hearing, right to fair. And next, equal before the law. So here the major point is here, in front of law, all human beings are equal. So that is the point here. So in front of the court, in front of the law, before law, in front of the law, all human beings are equal, right? Not based upon caste, not based upon the gender, not based upon the caste or religion. So all are all equal in front of the court or in front of the law, right? Next, freedom from slavery. So we have the slaves. So already we know that word term slave. So freedom from that slavery, right? Next, no. Okay, sorry for the distance. Some okay, freedom of thoughts and no imprisonment for breach of contract. So here, look at carefully. Contract. Contract means agreement between the two parties. So offerer and offering. So offerer give offer to the offering. So simply offerer means who give the work. Offering means who take the work. So here a contract between these two persons is called as agreement or a contract. This contract should have the particular work and should have the time and should have the amount for particular work. So and also we should have the working conditions also. Working conditions also. So here the offerer give work to offeree and offer payment and the time and working conditions and work processes to the offeree. The offeree should accomplish this work and get the money from the offerer, right? Between these two, offerer and offeree, we have the agreement. That agreement is called as contract. So agreement between the offerer and offeree is called as contract. Contract. So here the point is breach of contract means to close or to stop, to avoid this contract without finishing the work, without finishing or without accomplish the work, right? That is called as a breach of contract. Breach of contract. So not completing the proper work, but the contract will collapse with that is called as a breach of contract. So if any situation of their breach of contract, then the right is no imprisonment for breach of contract. Next, freedom of our thoughts. So it is another right of civil and political rights. Freedom of thoughts or thoughts. Next, no retrospective operations of law. So no retrospective operations of law. So we should obey the rules and regulations given by the government. So we should operate and we should follow and we should have the responsibility towards the law. That is the point of here. And next point is right to recognition before the law. Right. Next, coming to the another political rights, non-discrimination in civil and political rights. So already I told you, discrimination means non-discrimination means so don't having the partialities and don't follow the gender biases or caste-based partialities or religion-based partialities or reason-based partialities. Just we should treat all of other are equal. So that is called as here non-discrimination. So equality between men and women. So equality. So we should treat men and women are all equal. Next, freedom from arbitrage, arrest and detentions. So remember this thing, arbitrary arrest. So freedom from this thing, arbitrary arrest. So in this arbitrary arrest, we have the another slide, arbitrary arrest, right? Arrest, detention, right to liberty and freedom of movement, right to have the liberty and right to have the freedom. So just to have the freedom to have the liberty, right? We have the right to. Next, right to privacy. Right to have the privacy. These are the few civic and political rights. So in this point we have arbitrary arrest. So here look at this. Arbitrary arrest means nobody has the right to arrest you and put you in the prison or jail or to force you out of your country without a good reason. So don't having a proper reason, they has no right to arrest you and they have no right to put you in prison or in a jail and don't have right to force you to out of your country. So these three things are having this point. So don't having arrest and don't have the right to put you in the jail and don't force to out of your country without a proper reason, without a good specific reason, right? That is called as here arbitrary arrest. So this is another right we have in the civil and political rights. And coming to this thing, yes, here, economic, social, and cultural rights. So here, look at this thing. Social rights. Social already told you. Social means the society. So mingle with the society. So mingle with, interact with friends, relatives, neighbors, and other unknown persons. These four categories are concerned with the social. So social rights. So here, look at this thing. Community support system, having education, having learned the education. Next, early marriage. Next, parental care, social enigma, social coherence, household enthusiasm, and coming to here, permanent house, having the permanent house. Next, social development schemes, so self-employment schemes, PMKY schemes. So these are the few schemes. And next, lack of decisions making capacity and social respect, law of protection, law of protection. So simply having protection from the government. Next, the gender inequality. Inequality in gender means simply inequality between the males and females. Next, terrorism. These are the few rights we have as a part of human being in the society. And coming to this economic rights, just look at here. Economic rights, employment. So employment is one of the source to get the economy or finance or money. Next, coming to socio-economic standing. Socio means social and economic, combination of these two. So socio means socio-economic standing means here mingle and interact with the society as well as gain the some money and earning capacity. These two. So mingle with the society and gaining or earning capacity or comes under here. Socio-economic standing. Next, learning and proper training. Next, lack of basic services, schooling, participation, budgetary requirements. These things, employment, socio-economic, these all things are comes under economic rights, right? Next, cultural rights. So, cultural rights, respective pregnancy, sorry, cultural rights, social traditions, religious and reactions and development centers. So to develop our culturals and traditions, we need to have these rights. So coming to the next thing, health care or health rights. Repetitive pregnancy, hormonal defenses, water and sanitizations. These rights are used to better our health. So these are the economic and social cultural rights. So combination of CPR and ESCR, then we will get human rights. So human rights. So here look at this thing, substantive rights. So we have the 7 rights belongs to human rights. So these 7 are for human rights. Right to life, right to freedom, right to have right relief from freedom from slavery, right to fair trials, right? Freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Next, freedom of thoughts, conscience and religion, conscience and religions, freedom of movement. These are the 7 rights. Coming to the first thing, right to life. Next here, right to life. So look at this slide and because look at this point. The right to life is the essential right that human being has the right not to be made, not to be killed by another human being, right? Not killed by the another human being. It is a right, right? Adoption. Next, the concept of right to life is central to debate on the issues of abortion. Next, capital punishment, enthusiasm, and self-defense and war. Self-defense and the war. So here, look at this point. Right to life meaning is here the right not to be killed by another human being. And coming to the next, freedom from the torture. freedom from the torture. Torture has been used as a method of political re-education, interrogation, punishment, and coercion, right? So, freedom from our torture. So, freedom from slavery, another right we have. So, no one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms. So, freedom from slave or slavery is another right we have. Another right is right to a fair trial, fair trade, right? So here, fair mean ethical trial or trade. So just to we can have the fair judgment and we can have the fair trade. Trade means business, buying and selling of identical things to each other. So a particular business will have a right to fair trials. Anyone is entitled to fill the equality to a fair public hearing and independent to impartial tribunal in the determination of his rights and obligation and of any criminal change against him. Next, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, the freedom to speak freely without censorship, right? Next, freedom of thoughts. Next, freedom of thought and conscience and religion. So have a right to take any religions, right? Any religion. So here, if each and every person having a right to take any type of religion, right? Freedom of movement. So we can have the freedom. Sorry, we can have a okay. Again, sorry for the disturbance. So here, freedom of movement is another last right of human rights. So that is freedom of movement, except that a citizen of a state in which that citizen is present has the liberty to travel anywhere, for a purpose of work in any part of that state or where one of the place within its limits of respect for the liberty and right to or rights of others and to leave that state and return to any time. So anytime human beings are travel to one place to another place, and any time we can the right to travel and return towards their time and towards their home, right? So these are the few rights we have, the human rights. So human rights means human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, whatever nationality, whatever place of residence, whatever gender is there, whatever national or whatever ethnic origin or color or religion is there, whatever language or whatever any other status. But we are equal, and these are rights are used for every human being of our domestic country. So that is called as here human rights. So simply we are all equal, entitled to our human rights without any discrimination, right? So here is CPR and ESCR, civil and political rights, civil and political rights, economic, social, cultural rights, combination of these two, and we will get human rights. So these are the human rights we have: right to live, freedom of torture, freedom from torture, freedom from slavery, right to fair trial, or right to have a free uh, trade, fair trade, and freedom of speech, freedom of thoughts, and freedom of religion, freedom of a movement. So these are the points we have. And the next class we will meet with the value education, right? Thanks for listening. Stay home, stay safe.